The funny thing is, right, I'm the type of person that compares myself to everyone, and I'm just constantly in this, state of mind where I'm comparing myself to other people, and it's it's probably because I'm very insecure of myself. But the truth is, if you feel like you compare yourself to other people and you put yourself down, you feel inferior to other people, you feel that other people are better than you, and in all areas, I'm talking about all factors of life. There's always going to be someone who's better looking. There's always going to be someone who has more money. There's always going to be someone who's dressed better. There's always going to be someone, you know, because like that saying, the grass is always green on the other side. And boys, you need to be okay. You need to be okay with yourself not being perfect. There's always going to be someone better, always going to be someone handsomer. There's always going to be someone who has more money, or someone with a better looking, girlfriend, or someone with a better car, someone with a better house. And you're never going to be satisfied with your life. And look, you need to get to a point where you're just fine with yourself, okay? You're secure with yourself. And even though there's other people who have something that you don't have, you're fine with it, because you know in your heart who you are. You know in your heart your qualities, your strengths, and your weaknesses as well. Not just your strengths, we all have weaknesses. And don't ever compare yourself to other people, because you never know what the other person is going through, okay? You could be comparing yourself to someone who's severely depressed and hates their life. You can be comparing yourself to someone who's can't sleep at night because they're having some dark emotions, some dark sadness, some dark negative feelings, and they're depressed and they're sad. You could be, and you don't know. You just don't know what other people are going through. Maybe that guy has a lot of money and he's got a car and he's got, a big mansion, but he's just not happy. He's ungrateful because he's looking at his neighbor. His neighbor got a better car. His neighbor got a better house. So never ever compare yourself to other people, because you just don't know what they're going through, and their state of mind, and what they think, and everything, man. And look, I compare myself to other people, but this is gonna sound a bit, egotistical, but I'm sure someone has compared themselves to me and they were jealous of me. I'm not saying this because I feel like I'm like this big person, or I'm like this handsome person, or I'm like this super likable person. No, I'm not saying this, but I know for a fact someone has looked at me and been jealous of me, maybe because they felt like I was good looking. I'm not saying this to be egotistical, by the way. I'm not saying this to be like, or bigging myself up. I'm just saying there's always going to be someone who's everyone thinks that the grass is green on the other side, and it's not the case. It's not the case. So you don't want to be the type of person that compares yourself to everyone, because you're going to be miserable. I've been miserable doing this, and you're never secure with yourself. So you need to get to a point where you don't compare yourself to other people. You try to better yourself every single day, and just look back a year ago, where you were at, the spot you were at, the situation you're at, and look how much you've done in a year, or in 2 years, or in 3 years. Just look how much you've done, everything you've accomplished, and everything you've overcome, and all the good things you have done, the changes you've made, the habits, you've implemented. And if you started going to the gym, big yourself up. That's a big accomplishment. That's not easy. A lot of people don't go to the gym. If you started, taking a 30-minute walk, just big yourself up for these small things. And that's where your security starts to come in. You start to look yourself in a better light. And now you're not comparing yourself to other people. You're like, okay, I was better than I was, a couple months ago. I'm slowly making positive changes. I'm improving my mental health. And now I feel great, and that's where your security starts, you start to feel less insecure, and you stop, comparing yourself to other people. You start looking back on all your achievements and all your accomplishments and everything you've done. And that's where you start to be positive about yourself and be proud of yourself. And And that's where you can actually, you know, be secure of yourself, and you stop comparing yourself to other people. That's what real security is, you know, is when you can walk into a room and everyone, you know, it does not matter who's in that room. You're fine with who you are. You're okay with who you are. And you're at a good state of mind where, you know, it does not matter if that guy's making more money, or that guy is more handsome than you, or that guy, you know, is in a better situation, or he's got a better girlfriend. It does not matter, because you're not looking at that. You're just looking at yourself, you know. And this is something, you know, I'm slowly trying to get better at. And it's not easy. It's not easy because I feel like it's in like a human nature just to compare ourselves to other people. And but once you can actually, you know, look back on everything you've overcome, and you know where you started off and where you began, and you start to feel proud of yourself, you know. And that's where you know that proudness, that pride comes in, and you start to feel really, you know, good about yourself. And now you're secure with yourself, you know, and that's why you should never compare yourself to other people. Just compare yourself to yourself, you know. And yeah, stop focusing on other people. Focus on your own story. Focus on your own film, your own movie. Focus on your own script. You know, how's your movie gonna end? How are you gonna overcome obstacles? If you were in a movie right now, you know, how would you write your script? How would you dictate, you know, the narration of your film? And if you're going through some hard stuff, you're going through some difficult stuff, that's what makes a good movie, is overcoming them hard stuff, them difficulties and pain and suffering. That's what makes a good film. That's what makes a good movie. Look at all the good movies out there, you know. Just look at all the good movies and you see that, you know, it's about the main character just overcoming the obstacles, overcoming his problems, and overcoming the loss, or overcoming something. It's all about overcoming. So life is not just rainbows and sunshine. And, you know, life is going to bring you ups and downs, and that's what life is, man. It's never going to be easy, you know. Because I said in these videos, there's no sweet without bitter. There's no happiness without, you know, sadness and bad emotions. So it's all about just taking it one day at a time, trying to improve, you know, yourself, and just focusing on yourself, and forget about other people, because everyone's got their own story. Everyone's going through their own thing. You just never know. You never know.